So many simple drills come with fairly complex issues, and this is certainly one of those. What we want to look for here is a couple things. First of all, one of the reasons that the body starts to head down like this is because of the swimmer trying to make sure that she continues to stay underwater. Unfortunately, I would prefer that she is maintaining a little bit more direct body line as she does this. So it's not always the easiest thing for them to do, but it is something for them to focus on. We don't want them to get used to this kind of crunch down position as they do this, because this position can sometimes simulate the head lead position in the breaststroke underwater pole. So we want them to feel kind of an extension through that as they go into this position. She does a good job there, but again, leaning downhill a little bit. The real concern is what happens to the hips as she draws the legs. And this is one of the things I talked about in the drill, is that the hips tend to shift forward a little bit as she starts to set up the kick. So rather than just curling the heels up, she's bringing the knees up and the hips back. So there's multiple actions that are taking place right here which are going to create resistance and stop her. And so if we watch the momentum of her body as she recovers, so we watch the torso and we'll see that there is a big pause and hesitation. And this is a great time to do some watching of the tiles. So this drill not only works, obviously the connection or the hook of the kick, which is what we're really talking about here, but it also is going to work on the recovery. In the inverted position, obviously the first issue is very easy to see and something that we can really work on here, and that is this bend in the legs. Now what we really want to see is the legs stay straight and the heels come up as much as possible, so that there's very little interaction with the surface on this. So from this position here, what we'd be looking for is the heels to come up as much as possible with very little change in the angle of the leg there from the thigh to the knee, or it is the thigh, from the hip to the knee. There'd be very little change in that. So we're seeing a little bit too much, which can lead to why we saw the hips going backwards a little bit more on the face down position. So it's right here in this position that we're really going to try to work with her on making sure that she takes care of that bend, remains as level as possible in this position. She does get back into a nice line after she finishes the kick right there, but again, we need to make sure that all the lines are correct. What we really start to see with this swimmer is that the reason that we did this drill with her, when we look at how the angles are pitched at the top of the kick, we can see that she's not really getting the feet out as much as what we'd like to see, but the feet in a way from here, let me go back on that a little bit, the feet right through here have a tendency of piercing or leading with the toe initially, and so she doesn't grab as much water as she can. So you'll get a sense or a feeling that the legs stab through the water rather than grab and push her forward, and we'll really see it here. So the feet need to be pointed out a little bit more so that the insides of the feet in under here really catch that water and drive it directly back. So that's really the goal of this drill, is to see how long or how soon we can get the feet into a more squared off position like they are when they're back here. And then the narrow kick becomes more effective because she doesn't have to draw up as high to get the feet into that position. So ankle flexibility and really focusing on getting the feet turned out once they touch the heels, once they touch the fingertips.